Step 1, get a domain name. This is the first thing you need to do if you want to start an online store. And later in this video, I'm going to share all my tips with you on how to get a good domain name for your store. Step 2, pick your shopping cart platform. Choosing the correct platform to build your store on makes everything easier. Then I'll share tips on how to set up your store, including the biggest mistake most beginners make, and I'll teach you how to avoid this. After that, we'll talk about all the legal things and how to properly set up your business. And finally, step 5, I'll share all the secrets on how to get customers to come to your website, to come to your store after you've actually built it. At the end of this video, I will also share the biggest mistake that new e-commerce store owners make. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Travis, and about 7 years ago, I quit my corporate job to start my first online store, and it was the best thing I ever did. Now, I've made a lot of mistakes, and in this video, I'm gonna share some of those mistakes so you can avoid making them yourself. The first small thing you need to do is get a domain name, get your URL. This is gonna represent you, it's gonna represent your company, and here are a few tips. 1, it needs to be short. If it's really long, Google doesn't like it, your customers aren't gonna type it in, it causes a lot of issues. 2, it needs to be easy to spell. If you try to come up with some crazy name that no one knows how to spell, no one's gonna go to your website. 3, it needs to be easy to remember. Just because it's easy to spell, if people can't even remember what your domain name is, they're never gonna go to it. There are a lot of websites you can go to buy a domain name from. GoDaddy and Namecheap are 2 of my favorite ones out there. Now, as a bonus tip, when thinking about coming up with a name for your company and your domain name, try to make sure it includes a keyword that you want to rank for on Google. So when someone types in something that represents your company into Google, that's a keyword, and you want to make sure your domain name contains it. For instance, my first company I started was a dance clothing company, and we wanted to rank for the term dancewear. So our URL was bdancewear.com. Once you've purchased your domain name, it's time to go on to step 2, and that's pick a shopping cart platform. This is a really important decision, and there are a lot of shopping cart platforms out there, a lot of different options, but there's only 2 that I would recommend: Shopify and WooCommerce. I use both these for different scenarios. I'd say 75% of the people, if not more, watching this video should go with Shopify. The other 25% or so should go with WooCommerce. Shopify starts at around $30 a month, and Shopify is easy to use and it just works. You don't need to have any technical knowledge, and it has a great community around it. And one of the best features of Shopify is all the apps. There's a ton of apps, so if Shopify out of the box doesn't do what you want it to do, you can find an app that will do pretty much anything you can imagine. On the other hand, with WooCommerce, all you have to do is pay for hosting, and that's gonna cost you to start around $4 a month. It's a lot cheaper of an option, but I highly recommend only using WooCommerce if you have technical knowledge, if you know about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and or you're willing to learn. And the last issue with WooCommerce is that it does break easier, and there's not really any support to help you out, where Shopify does have dedicated support. So what I'd say is if you're looking to start a real business, I would 100% go with Shopify. It's worth the money. But if you're just looking to test out if internet marketing, entrepreneurship, and e-commerce is right for you, then just going with WooCommerce to start is not a bad idea. In fact, sometimes if I just want to start a small, quick store, I'll go with WooCommerce. But for my current main passion product business, Performance Nut Butter, I go with Shopify 100%. Step 3 is to set up your online store. And I'm gonna share some secrets with how you can do that in just a minute. But first, if you are gonna go with Shopify, I've got the hookup. I've got a link up here and down below where you can get a free 14-day trial. If instead you'd rather go with WooCommerce, I recommend using SiteGround for hosting. It's gonna cost you about $4 to $5 a month, but I always try to negotiate the best pricing I can with them. Again, I've got the hookup with SiteGround too. I've got links up here and down below. Go with whichever one is better for you, but if you do use my links, I'll hook you up with a free in-depth course on how to start your online store. For step 3, after you've purchased your shopping cart platform, you need to actually set up your store. And I'm gonna share with you some big mistakes that beginners make. The first thing is get a fundamental knowledge of SEO, search engine optimization. This is how Google determines what websites rank where. I have a link to a video down below going over everything you need to know about SEO. Once you learn about SEO and keyword research, it'll help you create a website that Google will want to rank higher, which will bring you free traffic, which everybody wants. The next big mistake that people make is they build a website that's confusing to use. There's a great book called Don't Make Me Think, and the whole premise of the book is you want to make it as easy as possible for a customer to purchase from you. Now this sounds simple, but that book gives some great tips. I have another video as well down below that talks about how to actually design your website so it's optimized properly for conversions. Because the truth is, if you get 100 people to your website, but only one of them buy, that's not very good. You wanna get as high of a conversion percentage as possible. You want as many of those people purchasing, and that'll make you more money. For step 4, let's talk about how to make your business legal in the eyes of the government. And everyone gets hung up on this and they think it's really hard to start an online business or a business in general legally, and it's not at all. There's a few simple things you'll do. First, you're gonna file for an EIN number. And an EIN number is free to get. I'll put a link down below on where you can go to get it. After that, then you're gonna wanna file for a state seller's permit in whatever state you live in, and that's also free to get. And that's only so you can pay sales tax. So some states and some countries obviously do not require that. And the last major step is create a business entity. And the two main ones that I'd recommend are either a DBA or an LLC. An LLC provides more protection, but it's a lot more expensive. And a DBA doesn't provide as much protection, but it allows you to get a business bank account, business credit card, all those kind of fun things. You also probably don't need a trademark or a patent for your logo or your idea, unless you think that there's potential that someone might infringe on it and that you'd be willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers to go after them. But if you do want to know more information about that and all the other legal things, I'll put another video down below on much more in depth about all the legal aspects of starting a business. Now it's time for the fun part and the most often overlooked and most important part of starting an online store, and that's getting customers to your website. And I'm gonna share quickly with you 10 ways to get customers to your website. The first one is SEO, which we already talked about, and that's just ranking high on Google so you can get free traffic to your website. The next one is content marketing, creating really unique, interesting content, articles, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever. All of this is free to do. And once again, if you do this properly, you can get customers to your website for free. After that is PR, and you can use public relations PR to get into newspapers, magazines, on radio shows, podcasts. Basically try to go be a guest or get articles written about you in other media. Another free option is using social media. This is Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever social media is popular for you and in your niche, use that. Develop a community and you can use that to drive traffic to your website. There's also some great paid ways to get customers to your website. AdWords, which is basically search text ads. So anytime someone searches a keyword in Google that you think would be a good customer for you, you can show them an AdWords ad and they'll click on your ad and come to your website. There's also product listing ads, which specifically show a product, a price tag, and so people can see your product before they click on the ad, and so then when they click on it, they're more likely to be in the purchasing mindset because they already saw what your product looks like and they already saw a price tag. There's also paid social media with Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads. All these can work really well for the correct kind of product. Number 8 is use influencers. Not only can you get great photos of your product, but these influencers will also post on their own social media, which will get you even more followers and more customers. Number 9 is display ads, and you can use Google's ad network to get your banners all across the web. And this isn't my favorite way of getting traffic to your website, but it can work for some people. Some websites will even let you pay a little bit to put a banner on their website. And if it's a really niche down website, that might be a good option for you. And finally, number 10, and this is another one of my favorites and probably the best way you can spend your money online, is retargeting ads. These are the ads that when someone comes to your website, anywhere they go online, your ads will follow them. These ads work great because they already know about your website, but maybe they didn't purchase yet. And so by seeing your ads again and again, they'll come back to your website and eventually make the purchase. The biggest mistake new e-commerce store owners make is they only sell on their own site and they don't sell on Amazon as well. And that's a huge mistake. My product, Performance Nut Butter, I've done about $50,000 on my own site on Shopify. During that same period of time, with the same product, with the same amount of effort, I did almost $1 million in sales on Amazon. And selling on Amazon is so much easier than selling on your own site. When you try to sell on your own site, you have to convince people to come to your website, which is really hard to do. You have to spend a lot of money on marketing to do that. Amazon already has 150 million Prime customers. And even if you get a customer to your site, trying to convince them to purchase and trust you is very hard. A typical e-commerce website has a conversion rate of about 1 to 3%.
as opposed to Amazon, which has a conversion rate of 10 to 30%. And the reason for this is people trust Amazon. Amazon is a $1 trillion company. Amazon also makes up 50% of all e-commerce sales. That means that 1 out of 2 purchases that are made online are made through Amazon. So yes, you should have your own website, but yes, you should also sell whatever products you're gonna be selling on Amazon as well. Now, not all products work on Amazon, and I do have a video right here where I talk about my first 2 years of selling on Amazon, including all the mistakes I made. I've made a ton of mistakes, and I also share how I found my product and all those details. So click on that link. I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.